Jeff and I, we're gonna have a Tuesday Audible. Normally we have some customers on, but we're gonna have Audible and really give some value today. Let's get it started.
Let's go.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
And our champion, Lisa, good morning. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Lisa, good morning.
Morning. Good morning to our good friend Daman, sponsor from Centurion
Daman.
Trucking. Nice to
How
see
you
you, buddy.
doing,
How's
sir?
everything going? So Jeff, today, yesterday we had the nice little holiday. Got time to take off. How did your day end up shaping up like yesterday?
Oh man, I tell you what, it started off like hell, like most logistics companies every morning. When I say that all in good terms because it was just something that just happened. And it just came in multiples. It was like when I had my podcast and I get so busy, the name of my podcast was Blindside Alley. Well, yesterday it was for sure Blindside Alley, but we put solutions in place and resolved all the issues. But man, that morning was tough. And I was like, maybe it's going to be like a pretty good morning because of the holiday. I mean, our banks and post office are closed. And I know Canada's, they're just decimated, man. There's nothing open except what Asian restaurants or something like that, right? So yeah, it was a good morning. What did you do yesterday, being that everybody in Canada was closed?
Yeah, anybody in Toronto will know this. I took time, my wife and I, we went shopping, did some damage on the wallet, and got some time to see other people, and basically just kind of get ready and have conversations about like what we want kind of like for next year, kind of reflecting back on the Thanksgiving dinner that we had the previous day. So it was a great day. Like you told me, like, hey, leave your phone. Like I honestly left my phone and I didn't touch it until really this morning.
Good boy. There you go.
It was. Yeah, it's so needed, right? Like, and I think like those mental breaks as well, just to kind of think about what you kind of want to do instead of like, oh my God, let me make sure this text, make sure this text. And here's the thing I learned, Jeff, is like, and obviously you're going to agree with this, is like, hey, I left my phone for X amount of thing. Nothing happened, like in terms of like nothing bad happened. Everything business as usual. We got these ebbs and flows and they come in waves, right? And as you were saying, like yesterday morning, you had a rough morning, but I'm pretty sure it was smooth sailing once you got there, right? So
yeah, and maybe you'll agree with this, but when I have time off, I posted a picture of my backyard and the serenity of it, and sitting out there and just glazing over the lake. It's a great time to think of the unthinkable, if that makes any sense. It's the things that you don't think of that blindsides you. And it goes back to my saying about the what if scenarios. In logistics and supply chain, there are so many what ifs out there. I mean, you could spend years discussing everything that's possible that would happen in logistics. But when you are looking at your own business and yours as well, Ryan, and you sit back and like you said, you take your phone and you put it down, and then all of a sudden you get into this zone, like it's not like freedom, but you're like, all of a sudden when you don't have all those pressures coming in on you and your phone's not ringing, all of a sudden your mind starts wandering and it starts thinking of multiple things, your family, your hobbies, your business, and then things start just like coming at you like there's no tomorrow. When you're sitting at your desk, it's all work and it's pretty much not all play, right? But then all of a sudden when you have that downtime, man, it's just a flood of everything just comes flying in. And I just find it a great time just to think of the unthinkables. I mean, in this business, you really have to take that time to do that. It's amazing when you do that. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, it's kind of happened to me even like yesterday when I was away and things like that. It was just, hey, thinking about my business. And what's something weird, Jeff? It's so weird. Like being in this industry, it opens up your eyes to so much things. So yesterday, like even like the hand sanitizer, the hand sanitizer stations and stuff like that. I'm like looking up the labels, like looking up who they ship and who, like I'm looking up who the companies are. I would have never done that if I was in this industry. And how many times have we, let's say, even like a sugar packet, like you get at a Denny's or something like that, you look up the company and you're like, maybe I'll give them a call tomorrow, you know, see what they're doing for their shipments and things like that. But coming back to what you kind of said, it's like it's really important to like get your family time, get your personal time, and like you said, like your hobby time, because that's only going to make you better. Jeff, I'll share this with you. It's 9 o'clock Eastern time in Toronto and where you are as well. But every morning from 7 to 8, I literally have it blocked in my calendar as me time. You know, so that's when I'll get some meditation done, I'll do some yoga, I'll do whatever I want. I was working on Duolingo, so I'm working on my French because my French sucks since I was a kid. But like from that 7 to 8, it's blocked out just me time. All the noise, everything it's taking. Even my wife knows, like, you know, like leave Ryan alone from 7 to 8. And I think that's so vital to have that, like, let's say personal time and not worry about. But I really like, especially what you said yesterday, you know, having that backup plan for the what if situations and things like that. And I think it's really important, and maybe you agree to it, is like not letting it consume you, you know, not think,
No,
you know, because I feel like when you put in stuff into the universe, it's gonna happen, you know. So uh,
look, look, and I keep on telling this, and it's a joke and stuff like this. Listen, if I let everything, and I'm being honest, affect me, I wouldn't have this head of hair being in this business for as long as I have. You know, that's one of the hardest things in this industry is to separate your emotions from the day to day. You know, you can get so engulfed in it and be sucked in automatically and take it to heart because you're passionate, right? You're passionate about what you do. You love what you do, and you love your customers, and you want to service them the best. But when shit hits the fan, literally, all of a sudden that emotion drive starts taking over, and you start panicking sometimes, especially when things start going your way. And you can't do that. I know that's probably the hardest thing to do, because I know everybody out there has done it. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. But once you learn how to do that and not take it to heart, things start becoming so much better, and you start getting fine-tuned and focused in on what really actually needs to be done, because you're removing that emotion. I'm not saying don't have empathy and emotions, period, but there's a time and place for everything. But when you're focusing in something, don't let that overcome your decision making. It's the worst thing that you can do.
and Lisa actually brings up a great follow up to that is, and I got a great answer for myself as well. But Jeff, let's hear your thoughts on it. It's like, what do you do to stop the emotions?
Separate yourself. I mean, I know it's as easy as I'm saying it, but it's not. And I said this podcast a long time ago. I used to be a bad person, and I'm honest, because I wasn't a good listener, and I'm going back into my youth when I first started in this industry, and I thought that I knew everything, and I was a hot hat and a hothead, I should say, and I took everything to heart, literally, and it was a horrible thing, and until I started really thinking about me and my health. You know, I had high blood pressure, and it almost drove me out of the business, because everything I did, you know, I just told people to go screw off. You know, I wasn't the kind of person that would have said, let's agree to disagree. No, we're going to disagree, and we're going to disagree hard. That was the way that I did it. And after I said, and you know, I'll just be blunt, I don't give a shit anymore. Well, when I did that, I separated myself from bringing in that emotion and having the emotion drive my company forward, my decision making forward, and all of this. And I started focusing in on the problem that was directly in front of me. And I separated that. My health got fantastic. I'm going 30 years ago. And I just started paving that path, and the path that I chose to take was the correct one. And sure, I had bumps in the road doing that path, but I wasn't going to change my feeling, my emotion, or go back to my old ways. And if people liked it, they liked it. If they didn't like it, that's fine by me. I had to do it for myself, and it worked. Well, it worked great. So, you know, have the ability to say no. when
Mm.
no needs to be said, but say it in a decent way and just walk about it, but don't hold it in. Maybe I should have not said no. Maybe I should, maybe. No, if you make that decision and don't have any regrets about doing that, and hold it in. I used to do that, and it's very self-destructing. And that's why I try to help everybody out there in the industry by saying that. I mean, I'm just honest and forthright, and I'll tell you what you want to hear, and I'll tell you what you don't want to hear. And these are the things that you want to hear. Don't let it get to you. You'll have a short life in logistics and supply chain. It'll beat you to hell up for sure. Separate yourself and do it as quickly as you possibly can.
Honestly, and that's honestly, and for me, just answering the question with Lisa here is just like one thing I learned from the app Headspace. If anybody doesn't know what Headspace is, it's a meditation app, and the number one thing they got like a beginner's foundation course, and the one thing that stuck with me and how I get stop the emotions in anything in my life is that they were doing one lesson one day, and they said, think of your mind and your body like, let's say your physical self, you're looking at the highway. You're seeing all these cars pass by, and
Mhm.
every car represents a thought or an emotion or something like that. You just let that car go, and then it's out of your peripheral. You give
Yep.
that attention for, let's say, the 2-3 seconds or whatever, and then you basically move on, and then you kind of go on. Because in the meditation world, people think that, hey, to be a good meditation person, or whatever, my mind has to be clear. It's the opposite. Your mind
Mhm.
has to run, what, like, you could just sit there and then all the thoughts come up like, oh my God, did I take off the heater? Do I have dinner tonight? What's going on? And things like that. So to like understand the process and understand that these thoughts are going to come and go, and just basically,
Yes.
like you
Let
said,
them go.
let them
Let
go,
it go. Just let it go.
like,
Exactly. I mean, you said it the same way I did, different way, but that's the key. Let them go, and just
we're
gone.
gonna be we're gonna be getting a sponsorship from Disney's Frozen, by the way, for Let It Go, the soundtrack. Eventually one day, but from there,
Don't
but
sing, man. Stay to your day job, man. Please.
and there's a reason why I'm in logistics, man. My mom said
Yeah, there you go.
I always had a
Absolutely.
face for radio, so that's the honest thing there.
There you
Jeff, I kind of want to get your thoughts on this. I think it's really important to talk about consistency in your
go.
daily process, in your process, personal, professional life. What has consistency done for you in all facets of your life?
Yep. Wonderful things. I mean, let's put this consistency like in your beliefs. Let's go with your beliefs.
Yep.
Okay. Being consistent in what you believe in, and what you should and should not do. Now, when I was working for a company years back, um, what I did, how I did it, when I did it worked great. Left that company, went to another company, same idea, same things, because I knew that the processes and everything that I had in place worked. I killed it in another position. However, this company culture wasn't right, and I went right out the door. But I didn't change that thought process. I didn't. I stayed right on that path. Nobody was going to divert me. And then I went to another company, and things just started growing. I mean, I had huge bumps in the road. I'm sure that other people have had bumps in the road as well. But man, when you're steadfast and you believe in what you're doing, and then you get those accolades and all those things said about you, you must be doing something right. So if it's working in that environment, continue to do what you're doing, and don't let anybody else tell you what to do. That's why I like having my own business. I don't report to anybody. I am my own worst enemy. So if I believe in what I'm doing is going to work like it did in the big companies that I work for, it's going to go forward. But it's that consistency. It's that reading in the morning, getting that knowledge bank, adaptability. The logistics industry is changing faster than the speed of sound. I would say. When I started out, we didn't have those computers. We didn't have that data. Our data was on green bar line 11 by 17 paper that we used to spit out in the morning. You know, the tariffs were, they called them pony tariffs. They weren't in a computer. They were basically on a piece of paper with all the rates and everything on it. Now, when you look at back then and you're like, how the hell did you do all that stuff? I mean, how did you move a business forward? You know, with the XLs and everything. And then all of a sudden, you know, the AS400s and now you've got Project 44 and you got all this other stuff that's coming in. If you don't have that adaptability to learn new tools and new methods, you are going to fail. You have to be on top of your game and have your finger on that pulse every single day. Once you lack in that area, you're going to fail, and you're going to fail miserably, because a lot of these customers are in key with what's happening in the industry, and they ask these questions. And if you can't answer those questions when they are asked, you're in big trouble. So I try to read every single morning. You have, you know, you do your mediation between 8 and 9. I look at periodicals. I look at articles I get on LinkedIn, and I look at my friends' content, and I absorb what I like, and, you know, kind of pass over the stuff that's like, I heard that before kind of deal. And it's always that knowledge bank, man. Keep on informing yourself and bringing you up to speed. That's the consistency that you need every single day in your life in this industry if you're going to succeed.
I think that, you know, you've nailed it, right? In terms of like consistency, because even talking about a sales process, you know, like we see so many people, like I see, like I said, on Reddit is one of my big things, like social medias I use, and everyone's, you know, you see posts like, I've been banging out for 3-4 months. I'm not meant for this industry. I'm just having that problem, and they just haven't found their consistency yet and their voice, right? And I think it all starts with like your ideal client profile. Because like how many of us, like at the beginning, will bend, like bend but don't break, right? But we'll bend and kind of like make adjustments or make audibles in our ideal client profile, and then later on, when shit hits the fan, we're like, oh my god, how did I get here? But
Yeah.
you went against your own ideal client profile, right? And it's about, for me, like having that ability to show up every single day and being able to like understand, like, hey, things might not have gone well on a Monday, but things are going to go well on Tuesday and on a Wednesday. And then you start having those small wins. And you mentioned this last week, Jeff, that I really like, is that everything that you've done in your career, you made it happen. It's because of you. You control your fate. You control everything. And that's what I really like. I think that was the Thursday or Friday thing that we had. But once you get to that point, it's like, okay, well, I've put everything in place. I know what's going to happen. You know, like I
Mhm.
know whether it's new customers or even if it's like carriers or even old customers that you haven't really talked to before. It's that consistency, knowing that, hey, I'm still the guy, you know, I'm still continuously evolving every single day of my life, to the fact that I'm never going to stay stagnant. Because on the flip side, consistency is stagnant. Has there been a time, like I know my career, I've been stagnant, and I look down the bottom of like a barrel and I'm like, oh my God, like where did that time go? But it was by decisions I made. What was the time that you felt like you were stagnant?
Long time ago.
Mhm.
Long time ago. You know, uh, one of my really good sayings is, if you think you're good, be better. You
Yes.
know, just don't stay being good, you know, good at what you do. Don't try to be a jack of all trades. You know, that's where a lot of people fail. Not saying if you're in a business and you want to be a jack of all trades, don't be that person who's the jack of all trades. Hire people better than you and put them in the position that knows that mode, that niche, and let them stay in that area and be the best that they possibly can. Let them be that SME in that area. You know, don't try to be something that you're not, because that's what's going to drive customers and prospects away. When you think you know what you're talking about and they kind of know that you don't, and you're caught with your pants around the ankles, they're going to remember. They're going to remember that, and they're done. So stay in your lane, stay in your niche, know what you do best. Only you know that. Nobody else knows that, and keep pushing that forward. And if you're able to go and do that and stay in your lane, you will be, I hate using the word successful because it's so broad, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no finish line in logistics because you're always constantly learning. So, I mean, you'll do well. Let's put it that way. You'll do very, very well. But don't push it, man. You
And
know,
I think one thing that I saw somebody actually comment this on the replays yesterday was that it's it's easy, like in school, like it's easy to get an A plus, but it's harder to keep it going. Harder to get it on like the next one and things like that, and keep that momentum. And
yeah, unless
I
you're the teacher's pet.
those days are gone. Those days are gone. I think there's a word teacher's pet. But Damon brings up some amazing things here. I want to kind of get to him as well. Is that consistency? I have to thank. Oh, thank you so much, Damon. Thank you, Jeff and Ryan, for consistently coming out every day to share your insights and knowledge. Greatly appreciate, gentlemen. Damon's such a
Hey,
genuine
thank you for
person.
supporting the show, Damon. We
Yeah, he's
appreciate.
awesome. There we go. And because this is like a pro athlete. And it's funny enough that he said that, because I was actually going to go into a baseball metaphor after, but it's like you want it bad enough, you show up every day with a long-term vision in mind. The results will come at the right moments. We're all usually tested on consistency and how long we can sustain the momentum. And that's what the point I wanted to make is like baseball players, they go through slumps, and that's the opposite of consistency, but they're consistent that they're going to come to practice the next day, go through the motions. You think that Aaron Judge is going to change his swing if he hasn't hit a home run?
I was just going to say that. Let's put it this way: mind over matter, right? So
Yep.
let's just think that somebody was like Aaron Judge going, "I got to get 62. I got to get 62," and you just
Yeah.
start like messing with your head. You're never going to hit 62. But if you just go about what you're good at, and you don't change your swing, you don't do anything, you go up there, you're going to you accept, hey, I'm going to strike out, I'm going to get a single, but if I or a double or triple, right? I'm going to be consistent in that, and the way that I'm playing, it's going to come. When I don't know, but I'm just going to do what I do best. That's it, but when you're saying I got to get there, I got to get there, I got to get there, don't rush it, man. Do not rush it. Let it fall into place. If you're doing well at what you're doing, just stay there. Just stay there. Continue to do it. Increase your knowledge bank, and it will come. Eventually, it will come. Just like for Aaron Judge, I mean, last year compared to this year, changed up, working out, steroids. I mean, he's the real deal. He just did what he does best. And in logistics, that's what you need to do best. You have to stay in your lane and continue to get that knowledge bank, increased with whatever you need to stay in that lane, to be the best that you can in that niche and be that SME. Do that, but be consistent and do it every day in and day out. And it will come. It will come. Just like it did for Aaron.
And the good thing is I kind of want to continue with Aaron because I'm a huge sports fan. And the one thing that I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but last off season, the Yankees offered him an extension and he declined it. So this year he's going to be a free agent. So imagine that. What if you, as a sales professional and operations professional, what if you really took a year of just digging in deep with your career? Because he's going to get the richest contract this offseason in MLB history, just coming off a career in a year like that. And he bet on himself.
Up well.
He set himself up, but he bet on himself, right? Because it was inconsistent. And how many of us are like that where, hey, we're a salaried rep or something like that, and it's like, hey, let's pull the trigger and go be an agent or basically start our own business and things like that.
That was my point. That's a perfect point, and I didn't get too many responses on that, and I was kind of surprised. If you're good at what you do, why not start your own business? Are you scared that you don't think that you have what it takes to be successful on your own? I mean, that's a thing to think about. Just think about that. I knew when I put that out there, I said nobody's going to respond to this, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway because I do it to make people think. Yeah. That's it. You don't have to respond to my post. I'm not expecting that to happen, but what I'm expecting you to do subconsciously is you read it and then you start thinking about it. It's like if you're really good at what you do and you want to succeed and be better than you've ever been before, why not take that leap of faith? What stops you from doing something like that? What are you scared of? And I think the number one response to that is being isolated, not having the camaraderie at the corporate office, not having that that FaceTime and that personal touches with people that you work with. Yeah, that's kind of tough to separate from that. But look, Ryan and I are talking on the podcast here. I have a partner down in Florida. We talk every single day. I mean, you can still have those conversations. You don't need to be face to face. If you want to go to events and seminars, yeah, you can get on a plane and go and do that. But I'm telling you, if you're good at what you do.
I think Jeff's kind of just broke up here. I'll just add him back on here. But the one thing that David kind of brings up here is like, sports basics. You put in the reps, show up every single day, and don't give up. Like if you're not winning all the time, sooner or later the opportunity will come, and not everyone becomes a pro on the first day at the gym. Like we were talking about that last week. Like you're not going to get abs after one workout. Like you shouldn't be checking the scale all the time, but you start consistency. And one thing that comes with that is, right, one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks ever, Tom Brady. He was a third stringer quarterback, for the New England Patriots. People don't realize that. Like he was under Drew Bledsoe's shadow, and then Drew got an injury, and then he got his chance, and then he took the ball and run with it. So you're going to get your opportunity, but in the meantime, look at the game plan, study the game plan, study game tape. Like as a sales rep, listen to your calls, look at your emails, like do everything that you can, see how you do performances on your carriers. Like that's the stuff that you can control, right? Like we say, control the controllables, but those are the things you can control. So why not make it the best of the ability as you can? And Jeff, welcome welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I got to get the Geek Squad over to the house because I've got so many different monitors and so many things on my desk that I've got to get them in here. Something's happening. So I apologize, guys, but I'm going to get it done.
No, it's awesome. And you know what? That's one of the best things that we talk about, consistency. It's like, you show up every day, you be that person, you kind of go from there. And you know what? I think we won't get into this because I know we got a couple minutes left, but it's just like,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to ask for help. Like,
Oh.
hey, things are not like, I'm pretty sure, like going back to Aaron Judge or anybody like that. Hey, if his swing wasn't working, he has a batting coach for a reason, like
Bingo.
there's a thing like that. So like, even if you don't want to have a mentor, I think everybody should have a mentor, but you're not a person that, hey, I don't really feel that I should have a mentor at this point in my career. Ask questions. Like there hasn't been somebody on LinkedIn that I've reached out to that has given me the cold shoulder. Everybody's willing to help each other, and
it's just advice. It's just advice, right?
Yeah.
So you can either take it or leave it. If it makes sense and you start thinking about it, you go, he had a good point. Yeah, she had a good point, and you start thinking about that kind of stuff. But when you know a lot of people in the industry and you touch points and you interact with them, they know you know them. And some of the best advice, comes from competitors. I mean, I've got a lot of friends who are competitors. We don't discuss business or anything like that as far as, our customers or whatever, but there's some that would because they know we're not going to touch theirs and they're not going to touch ours. We're not like that. We don't go back soliciting and all this kind of stuff that happens in the industry, unfortunately. But those are the type of relationships that you should hold right here, man, to heart. Those are the most meaningful ones and the ones that are going to uplift you and get you on that right path to get you to where you need to be. We're all in this together. We really are. And as big as the logistics and supply chain industry is, it's actually a very small bridge to cross. It really is. I mean, it's a small industry and everybody knows somebody in it. And that's what's so excellent about this industry.
Awesome. So couldn't figure out a better thing to leave off on. So want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. I know we're back and ready at it again. The replay will be hitting all our social media channels at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Tomorrow is going to be Data Day with Dean. I know everybody is one of my personal favorite days.
Love that day.
Value. So tune in tomorrow. He's going to talk to us about what happened at DatCon, all the insights, and everything that's kind of going on. I know we're about 2 weeks after Ian, so if the aftermath and everything like that. So once again, thank you everybody for coming out this morning. Thank you to our sponsor Daman from Centurion Trucking, one of the biggest gems in our industry. So definitely reach out to him, get some advice, and see how you guys can basically work together. So Jeff, always a pleasure, my friend. And
thanks everybody. See you guys tomorrow.
Take care.
At Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of